Amanda from Seattle, Washington asked if she gets a C-section, can she do cord blood banking? Here's the answer. Welcome to the Hypno-Baby channel. I'm Dr. Natalie Fizet. I'm a retired family doctor who delivered 3,700 babies. This is your channel, so don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and be amazed. Of course, there's a big medical disclaimer. This channel is for entertainment only. You use it at your own risk. I am a doctor, but I'm not your doctor. So if you have a C-section, and you have to know that in the US it's 1 out of 3, so 33% of women end up in C-section, which is way too much. Look at my other videos on the Hypno-Baby program, how you can avoid a C-section, especially those videos called How to Avoid a C-Section. The title says it. And all the other videos, honestly, this is what the channel is about. So getting back to, and some C-sections are necessary. I'm not saying all C-sections are not necessary. So some C-sections are necessary, but there's too much. Okay, even the World Health Organization says 10 to 15% should be what we aim for. They've been saying it since 1980, by the way. Nothing new here. Every now and then you see a news article saying, okay, the World Health Organization says we should have 10 to 15% C-section. Old news, and it keeps increasing. So anyways, getting back to cord blood banking, yes, you can do cord blood banking even if you have a C-section. If it's a planned one, it's easier because then you can bring your box and the gynecologist knows about it and everybody's like relaxed. If it's an emergency C-section, yes, you can still do it, but it might get forgotten in the whole thing. So you have to have a system, put a sticker on your hospital door so when people get out or at a really obvious place, and don't put all the burden on your birthing partner saying you have to remember, because if they say, let's say, oh, the baby's heart is crashing or whatever, we need to do a C-section or you're bleeding or whatever, you're going to go blank here. So make sure you have a system in place, or tell your nurse, okay, or have a note in somewhere like really obvious that you want to do cord blood banking, because once the baby's born, it's too late. So you only have one shot at this. So make sure that your box follows you if you go even for an emergency C-section. You have to understand that it might not work, because if it's an emergency and they need to get the baby out and baby needs special care, or if you're bleeding and they need to take care of your uterus, a blood cord is really like the second thing on their mind, okay? And it's perfectly okay. They want to save the mom and the baby. So you have to know that it might not work even if you bring the box to the OR, and that's perfectly fine. In the beginning of cord blood banking, the boxes, all the content of the boxes were not sterile. Only the pouch was sterile and the tubing was not sterile. So it was complicated because the operating field has to be sterile. So the cord would be like, okay, we should not touch anything. So it was now good cord blood banking labs have the whole kit is sterile, and the nurse knows how to open it in a sterile manner, so it goes with the same as the instruments. So make sure you shop the company around. Don't have the cheapest one, and make sure you do your research. The good ones are usually FDA approved, so they're really checked and everything. So because it's not that dangerous to have a bacteria in it. It's just that it could get rejected, because if there's a bacteria in it, they're not gonna use it or freeze it, or they might freeze it and it won't be usable because they retest it before they inject it to before doing a transplantation, instead of the bone marrow transplantation. I'll say it. So you have to make sure that your kit is an approved one, that it is sterile, and don't let people like play around with your box. Oh my God, this is so much fun, and open it and put their fingers on it. It has to be respected. Respect the box. So, and there's contradiction. Some gynecologists say, oh, you have more blood if you have a C-section in the cord, in the sample that the collection that you take. Others say you have less. So take your pick. I think it's most probably the same. So, whatever. We like to contradict ourselves as doctors. That's what we do. We do medical studies that says one thing and another medical study that says the exact opposite, and you take your pick. When there's those contradiction, it means that the evidence is not that strong. So, in conclusion, let's say this: yes, you can do cord blood banking, even if you have a C-section. Make sure that the nurse that welcomes you at the delivery room, if it's a planned C-section, like I said, it's easier because you can plan it. If it's not a planned C-section emergency, make sure the box follows you, that you have a system in place, and that's your responsibility. Not saying, well, I should have been the nurse or anything, because their priority is you and your baby. So if you want the box to follow you, make sure that you have a system in place. Like I'm repeating myself, but just to make sure you have a system in place. So because it will be too late once the baby's born, the cord is clamped, and then it stopped pulsating, like the blood empties itself within a matter of minutes. So then it's too late after that to run to the lab and say, oh, I want to poke my placenta. It doesn't work that way. It has to be done in the OR. Again, if you were, let's say you had a placenta detachment or something terrible, sometimes there's not enough blood in the cord. So it's okay if it doesn't work. And the odds of you needing your baby blood cord at this time in reality is low, so it's okay if it happens and you don't have enough cord blood, but it should be doable. And most the gynecologist and the nurse are well experienced in this, and it's a big vein, so it's really easy to poke, even if they've never done one. If you get a doctor that's kind of new or whatever, it's really easy to just poke the big veins and let the bag fill itself. So, and if you do tissue sampling, they just cut a piece of the cord. So it's really simple. So don't worry about it, but make sure you, again, have your security in place, that the box will follow you to the OR. Okay, see you on the next video. Bye bye.